Haley Reese, and today's video I am super excited about because this is something that I like to look into on my free time, and now I get to come on here and share it with you guys. Scary movies that have even scarier true stories behind them. That is what we are going to dive into today, and my oh my, let me just tell you, if you're looking to get into the Halloween spirit, this is the video for you. Today's video though has been sponsored by Shudder, which is honestly hands down, you guys, the best place to stream suspenseful, thriller, horror movies. Especially around this time of year, I love to have scary movie marathons, and sometimes it's hard to find places where you can stream endless amounts of scary movies. And for those of you who might be like me and have seen a ton of scary movies, it's a little bit hard to find different really good ones. So when I dove into the world of Shudder and I looked at all of the different titles they had, I was over the moon to share this with you guys because I really feel like if you're looking for a place to get your thrills in, this is the website for you. So if you guys want to check out Shudder, I will have a link in the description box that you can click, and using my code you are able to get a free 30-day trial rather than a 7-day trial, so it will be perfect for you guys for free to check out all of the different movies that they have and enjoy it this Halloween season. There are 3 movies that I really want to talk about the scary backstory behind, and all 3 of them are streamable on Shudder. So as I was digging into this website, I started watching a ton of different horror movies, and upon watching these particular movies, I realized just how scary the true stories behind them are. So if you guys want to hear all about the scary truth behind some of the scary movies that we love to watch, all you gotta do is just keep on watching today's video. So the very first movie that I want to talk about is Insidious. I loved the movie Insidious. I can't even count on my fingers how many times I've rewatched it. I seriously love the whole concept behind it, but I think the scariest part about this movie is that this is something that happens to people all across the world. So basically, in the movie Insidious, there's a little boy who falls into what his parents think to be a coma. However, he was actually lured by a demon into a different dimension where he was unable to find his way back to his body. His father actually winds up having to travel into this different dimension and find his son and bring him back to his body. Now, the unfortunate thing about this title is that there's not just one particular story I can share with you guys. You know, it's not like The Conjuring where it's based on one specific event. This is actually something that happens to a ton of people, and one of the most common ways that this can happen is through astral projection. Now, we've talked about astral projection in some of my previous videos. I've actually done an entire video on astral projection, and astral projection is basically where your soul can leave your physical body while sleeping and travel to different dimensions, travel to the past, the present, the future, the universe, basically anywhere. And I talked about how this can be a wonderful thing. I've actually astral projected ever since I was younger unintentionally, which is what makes this a little bit more freaky. But the scary part about astral projection is when you could encounter a demon. Now, it is said that when you leave your physical body, there are demons that want to lure you away from your physical body and actually keep you trapped in this different spiritual plane, so that they can therefore possess your physical body and you wind up trapped in a different dimension for eternity, I guess. I read a story about a little boy in Chicago who had actually astral projected ever since he was younger as well. But the unfortunate thing was that the house that they were living in actually contained a demonic presence that had been there since before they had moved in. And this presence took a liking to the little boy. The innocence, the youthfulness of his body, and just the idea of possessing him became, I guess, this demon's motive. And through luring him in the moments of astral projection, they had pulled him away from his physical body and began to possess it. And it wasn't until they had a priest come in and somebody who was experienced in this entire multidimensional traveling come in and therefore, same thing as the movie, guide the child back to its body and banish away this demonic entity. So the movie Insidious definitely has a very dark reality behind it, in the sense of this has happened, this could very well happen, and it's not just a made-up movie. I actually had met with somebody to help me cleanse my chakras, which is basically like you have different chakras throughout your whole body. I can totally do a video on this as well. And they told me that the scariest movie they've ever seen in their whole entire lives was Insidious, because they knew of somebody who had gotten trapped outside of their body, and somebody had to actually physically leave their own body and go and retrieve him. So when they watched that movie, it kind of struck close to home in the sense of, this is real. This kind of stuff really does happen. And they also said that the way that it was directed, it was very authentic to the realities of how something like this would take place and how something would happen. I don't know, you guys, check it out on Shudder, super freaky. Moving on from that though, I want to talk about another movie that I watched while I was diving into the world of Shudder, and it scared me so bad. Probably more than it will scare you guys, but there is a true story behind it that I want to share with you guys, and this movie is called The Reef. If you guys have been on this channel for a while, you know I am freaking terrified of sharks. Like, my fear for sharks is like out of this world. I will not go in the ocean past my knees. And this is because I will tell you guys this story too. I know somebody who nearly got attacked by a very aggressive shark. They just really freak me out. And so the movie The Reef definitely had me on the edge of my seat, but it's based on true events. So within this movie, there is a group of people that take a yacht out into the ocean. And upon stumbling into the coral area, their yacht actually winds up sinking, and so they are stranded in the middle of the ocean. And throughout this entire movie, people keep getting eaten by sharks, and it's just really horrible and scary, but amazing if you're looking for a good thrill. Now, it's set based on true events when I looked at the title, and I was like, really? So I wanted to dig into the true story behind this. So in 1983, 28-year-old Ray Boundy, I really hope I'm pronouncing that right, went out on a boat with two other people. Linda Horton, who was 21, and Dennis Murphy, who was 24. So they were all relatively young. I mean, Linda was the exact same age that I am right now. And so it kind of makes the story hit a little bit close to home for me. Now, just like the movie, their boat winds up sinking as well, and they are stranded in the middle of the ocean. Linda and Dennis survived 24 hours in the ocean along with Ray until a tiger shark viciously attacked them and killed them, and Ray survived 36 hours before being rescued and was luckily not attacked by the same shark, although he was stalked by the shark endlessly. That to me makes the movie all the more frightening, that they took the details so precisely from a true event and created this movie based around it. I don't know about you guys, but a movie that has a true story behind it makes it all the scarier, because you have to recognize that this is not just a made-up thing. This is a true event, and somebody lived through this horror. I knew somebody who was 6'7", and he went to go out into the ocean, and this is a true story. He told me this. I was already afraid of sharks before he told me this, and then I was just like, thanks for that. Thank you for reaffirming my fears. And he went out into the ocean, and he didn't realize how far out he was, because he's 6'7", and so the water was up to his shoulders. Okay, so for the average person, way over our heads. But in his mind, he wasn't taking into consideration how much taller he was than the average person, in the fact that he was in over 6 feet of water. Now, sharks do not need much water to swim, so they were like having a heyday in this amount of water. And all of a sudden, he feels this big smack on his leg. A big smack. And he's like, what in the world was that? And as he looks back to the shore, he realizes how far he is, and he realizes that the lifeguard is blowing a whistle and holding up a picture of something. And so he's like, you know what? I'm gonna stay calm. I'm gonna slowly walk back to shore, and I'll figure out what the heck that was. So that's exactly what he does. How he did that, I have no idea, but it ended up saving his life, because the particular shark that had smacked him, I want to say it was a bull shark, but don't quote me because I don't know. This particular shark, they smack their prey to like warn them that they're coming. And they do a big circle around, and when they come back from that big circle, you're being attacked. And so the only reason that the shark did not viciously attack him was because he had stayed so calm and just slowly walked back, that the shark was just continuing its stalking, didn't sense any fear or any need to attack sooner than it was going to, and in turn he wound up getting out of the water safely. So I definitely recommend checking out this title. I don't know if you guys are like me and sharks really freak you out. Oh, but that movie had me on edge, and it just reconfirmed that I don't like the ocean. Well, I do like the ocean quite a bit if I'm laying on a boat or I'm laying on the sand. So the final title that I really want to talk about with a true story behind it is The Last Exorcism. Now, any movie to do with exorcisms really, really scares me. Like, I will probably have my eyes covered for nearly the whole entire movie. It scares me that bad. And that's just because exorcisms are performed daily. And exorcisms and the need to perform them are a very, very real thing. So the entire movie and the entire franchise of exorcisms and The Exorcist and all of that jazz is based on multiple true events. But I really want to touch on today the crazy things that went on all of the different exorcisms and exorcist sets while they were filming. I believe it was the first movie was based on a true story of a little boy who was possessed, and I think that they adapted it into a motion picture. And that movie was said to have been super haunted, super possessed, and the set was said to just be terrifying. That set actually caught completely on fire, but the room of the little boy in the movie, I believe it was the room of the little boy in the movie, that or the room that they performed the exorcism in, was the only room that didn't burn down. Now, I think the fire department was able to prove that the fire was caused by like a bird flying into something. I don't know, but nonetheless, people had a really eerie feeling about that. Any of the exorcism movies come along with unexplainable deaths by those that are on the crew, those that are filming it, those that are acting in it. Unexplainable deaths. Unexplainable things to happen on the set. You guys have no idea. Do your research into this, but first watch the movie and just like see the correlations. Like, people who have been said to act in a movie as somebody possessed say that their lives were changed tremendously forever, and that they felt like they had brought on this negative, dark, creepy force, and that it would never leave them. This movie, you guys, keep in mind, I watched it on Shudder completely by myself. I thought that I was gonna cry. It is that freaky. So if you guys are looking for like a super freaky movie, this would be the one, but definitely understand that this is based on extremely true events. And that exorcists are no joke. Now, I have somebody that I know that is very, very close to me who actually witnessed an exorcism. And he says that there were like multiple grown muscular men holding down this little boy while the priest read out everything that needed to be read to him from the Bible. And the little boy was able to throw all of these grown men off. This is a little boy. He said that he turned his head, looked straight at the priest with a completely different voice, and said, "I hate you." He said he could not believe his eyes. And this is somebody that doesn't lie. This is somebody that I know, a grown adult, a grown man who definitely has no reason to share that story. And when he tells it, he gets goosebumps on his arms, you guys, that I've never, ever seen him have. The fact that I know somebody who's witnessed that just makes these Hollywood motion pictures all the more scary, because what we go and check out as a thrill seeker is somebody's real life horror story. What do you guys think about these creepy backstories? What do you guys think of these movies? Have you seen them? Did you enjoy them? Definitely go ahead, utilize this opportunity, you guys. Halloween is just around the corner. You definitely want a creepy marathon, and I can provide you with 30 free days of it. So click the link in the description, use my code, and watch some of these things for yourself, because upon watching them and realizing the scary truth behind them, my hair was just standing up on my skin. Thank you so much to Shudder for sponsoring today's video. I cannot tell you enough how many hours I'm gonna spend digging through and watching these freaky movies. If you guys guys enjoyed today's video but you are not yet subscribed, please go ahead, click that subscribe button. I post a ton of videos. I don't want you to miss when I upload. And please give this video a big thumbs up. It makes my heart super happy when you guys do that, so please do that. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness. And until next time, I love you.